and pray for those that ran for an election post here in the city and are willing to stand for the city, Father. We thank you for the new city council members, for those, the treasurer and clerk that ran and remained in their positions, Father. We thank you for the old and new chiefs, Father. We thank you for the new officer. We also thank you for the celebrations of those that are here, Father, for presentations of things that we are so proud of them, Father, and it's just an amazing thing. We're proud of the city council. We thank you for our new city manager, Father, and just are so glad that you have allowed this city to continue to prosper and run a little bit smoothly than it has in the past. So we thank you for that, Father. We ask that you'll watch over all our officers that are on the street, give them a moral compass as they make decisions, Father. Watch over our firemen and keep them safe, Father. And watch over our new officer as just sworn in, Father. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Could we have the roll call, please?
Ambrose?
Here.
Button?
I'm here.
Gale?
Here.
Raymond?
Here.
Nelson?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, we have a lot of stuff on the agenda tonight. We are going to start off, city manager is going to present the Christmas parade trophies.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight and also for all those that attended the Christmas parade. It was spectacular, and we couldn't have done it without the generous support and all the sacrifice and hours of our volunteers, including Brad Pickle and his staging volunteers, our judges, Nareda Ochoa Jantz, Dee Heller, and Chaplain Steve Mead, and our announcers, Casey Stead and Roy Torres. We could not have done that without you. Parade entries are judged on 3 things: how well they follow the theme of the parade, which was the 12 days of Christmas, their overall creativity and light display, and their showmanship. All the floats that placed tonight were creative within the parade theme, and they had lots of light and charisma. And we'll have 2 of our council members, Ambrose and Kale, present the awards. So in 3rd place, with their 8 Maids of Milking theme, is McSwain 4-H. So come on forward for to receive the award. If anyone wants to take a photo. Thank you, McSwain 4-H. In 2nd place, with their 12 drummers drumming, is Castle Family Healthcare. So come on forward if you're here representing. Thank you. Finally, in first place with their 5 gold rings and 2 turtle doves is Atwater Youth Football and Cheer. Congratulations, Falcons. Is Chief Stanfield here? Please come forward.
Thank you, Council, City Manager, Mayor, Council members-elect somewhere in the back of the room. Where'd Chief go? All right, here he is. So if I can have Chief Salvador come up with me. We have a presentation we want to give. So a few months ago, you came and embarrassed me in council. The only blessing is that he was limited to 3 minutes, so we had to cut him off at 3 minutes. I did not pull a card. I actually got on the agenda, so my time is unlimited.
Can I go? Can I leave?
So I met you about 5-6 years ago when you first came here. I was a commander at Modesto. You invited me down to help you test for sergeant for your new command staff. And a little over a year ago, I came down to Merced as a chief of police. And within about 2 weeks, you and I were having lunch here at Jan's Bakery, introducing me to that whole world I did not know about. And now that's become our hangout. Yeah. And we have become close friends. And you're not chief to me or Mike, and we talk all the time. We can confide in each other. We've yelled about things on the phone before, both ways, but you are part of a larger chief sheriff's group that's all here to support you tonight. And as a representative of the Merced County Chiefs and Sheriffs Association, we snuck this flag at all the police agencies in our county, even your police department. We snuck it up the flagpole there. Thanks to a little elf named Bill. And what we did is we presented you with this. This is on behalf of all of us, sheriffs here, our DA Silvera's here. I know CHP is here with Tony. Los Banos is on the way if he's not here already. Chief Reyna, Chief Battles, all of us just love and respect you. We are going to miss you. For those in attendance here, what you don't understand is the Chiefs Association group here, we're a pretty tight group. We're not just a bunch of police officers that fight and we live in our own little world. We're family, and we treat each other like family, and we share experiences, we share struggles, and you're very important to us. And so on behalf of our association, all of my colleagues here, we are going to miss you, and we want to say goodbye, and we want to present you with this flag that has been flown at all agencies, but it should be noted that the last agency it flew at was Atwater. So congratulations and welcome into retirement. Box is right around the corner.
Good evening, everyone. Assemblywoman Esmeralda Soria, please, Chief, if you could just stay. One more. Sorry I am late, but I did want to show up and just express my sincere gratitude for the work that you've done for this community, for your career in law enforcement, and making sure that you're protecting and making sure that every family in the communities that you served were safe. On behalf of the California State Assembly, I wanted to present recognition again to commend and honor you for your exceptional service, specifically here for the city of Atwater. Your leadership, integrity, and dedication to public safety after 33 years have made a lasting impact on our community and set a standard of excellence for others to follow. As you retire, we celebrate not only your remarkable career, but also the legacy of excellence, compassion, and professionalism you have left behind. I want to thank you again for your service, and thank you for the friendship and the work that we were able to do together.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
One more here. So my name is Rich Miller. I'm the pastor of the Victory Baptist Church here in Atwater. Yes. And I started coming to city council meetings back in 2019 in the spring. And shortly after, is when Chief came on board here. And our church started something back in 2018 called the Hometown Hero Award, and we give it out every year. Our first recipient was Ken Lee, and then shortly after that, Michael Friedberg, Dave Sargenson, Michael Rivera, Dave Goodwin, Robert Vargas, and this year, Joshua Corchado. But there's one person who did not ever receive one in the last 7 years, and that is our chief. So we made up a special one for him. Each of the awards would say the year. For example, this year was 2024 Hometown Hero. This is an honorary Hometown Hero Award for him from our church, and it's dated today, Monday, December 9th, 2024. And it says, in recognition of the countless hours he has dedicated towards protecting, preserving, and prospering the city of Atwater over the past 5 years, the courage he has exemplified in doing the right thing, even when he may have had to travel that road alone, and the love that he has shown for every individual in this community, the people of Victory Baptist Church would like to bestow upon Chief Michael Salvador the title of Hometown Hero. And we do have a little thank you card, and I'm glad that the chief mentioned Jantz, because there's something for Jantz inside there. So you can enjoy it and come back to Atwater to see us, all right?
I will, absolutely.
Sorry, Chief. As a chaplain, we're responsible for our prayer and looking out for our officers. Our chief here has great faith in God and has been an extremely strong supporter of the chaplains program, which is taking a little bit of time to get back growing. It went through same thing everything did during COVID. I want to present him a honor coin. St. Michael, the patron saint of officers, and he deserves it. He has just been an amazing man, an amazing support of our program. I want to thank you, Chief.
Okay, now, so we have a little, it's not a hiccup, but we have to finish up some business from the previous council, and then we'll start the meeting over again with the new council once it gets sworn in. So we don't have a consent calendar tonight, so we need to have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 12th, 2024 regular meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Button, second by Raymond. Kale?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Button?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 2 is the certifying the canvassing of votes in the November 5th, 2024 general municipal election. Chris?
On December 3rd, 2024, the Merced County Registrar of Voters certified the facts of the general municipal election held in the city of Atwater on the 5th day of November 2024 for the election of the city council members in District 1 and 2, city clerk, and city treasurer. The Merced County Registrar of Voters office canvassed the November 5th, 2024 votes digitally and published copies of the final certified results on the Merced County Registrar of Voters website. Those results are included as an attachment to resolution number 3511-24.
Need a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll
Okay, is there anybody in the audience who would like to comment on canvassing of the vote? Seeing nobody come forward, we'll accept the motion.
I'll for the last time, respectfully and happily, motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Button, second by Raymond. Kale?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Button?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. so the next item is outgoing city council member comments. Tyler, that'd be you.
Oh, am I the only one? Okay.
You're the only one.
I'll just say also, I just want to say, Chief, thank you. I really appreciate. There's been some amazing things said, so I won't try to top it, but just want to say one more time, thank you. You know, for those of you who don't know, if you've been to council meetings, I bring it up every once in a while. Brian will usually roll his eyes or something and say, I am a teacher here in Atwater. I've been teaching here for about 9 years, and I look at it as a way of serving the community, and you know, it's a job that I'm blessed to have. I get every day. You know, I heard a teacher say, you know, one time that, you know, when you're a teacher, every day you get to decide what the weather's going to be in your classroom, and I've always tried to hold on to that, and trying to make a difference with kids in my classroom. And then deciding to do this and serve my community that I care about in a different way, you know, it was, you know, probably not during the best time. It was when everybody's hair was on fire and it was COVID. And then I was, you know, given some encouraging words to maybe do this. So to my wife's, you know, dismay, I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. So, but it ended up being an amazing experience. I love Atwater. I grew up here. I've been here for 24 years. Some of the people, men and women that I've grown to know in this community have, you know, kind of brought me up through this community and through my church. And it's, there's not enough words that I can say to show how grateful I am to those folks. And I do want to say before, you know, I just want to say congratulations to the incoming city councilwoman, Councilwoman Rochester. I think she's going to do a great job. Really excited to see what comes next, and I wish nothing but the best. And my family and I, or my wife and I, will be praying for you and your husband and your family as you continue on this journey. Yeah, I think I just would like to say a few things about some of the gentlemen that are up here really briefly. You know, I came in, you know, I was somebody who followed city council meetings leading up to 2020, but I wasn't like overly, you know, going to all the city council meetings. But, you know, starting with Brian, who's been sitting next to me this whole time, you know, he is a fighter, and he's somebody who is going to tell you exactly what he thinks. And, but unfortunately, if anybody disagrees, he can usually back it up. And I say fighter, but, you know, he's our fighter, and he's someone who's taken a lot of arrows over the, how many years you've been? 12? 10, you know, and he's stepped in front of a lot of things for this town, this community, this area. And I just will always appreciate what he's done and the things that I won't ever know that he's done to advocate for this area. So love you, man, and appreciate it. Who else is on here? Let's see. Okay, I'm just kidding. Danny, you know, he is, you know, somebody told me that used to sit in my seat, Councilwoman Vieira, that, you know, Danny is she told me he's one of the most thoughtful and just caring council members, not to say these other ones aren't either, but you know, that you'll ever see. And that couldn't be more true. You know, he's also someone who you're never going to get, you're never going to get a point of view that is skewed or anything like that. Danny's right down the middle. And him and I both share commonality that we have little kids going through this at the same time. So I felt like we've always kind of had that, and he's just a smart, great guy. So I'll miss being up here with him. John, John, I remember being at Costco gas, like most of us go from time to time. But I remember I saw John before I was on city council, and I was like, hey, that's that guy that's on city council for Atwater. I was like, man, that guy, I like that guy. And, and I would talk to some friends, and they would tell me his backstory and what he's been through. And John is he's one of the most dynamic people. The experiences and the information and knowledge that he has is just amazing, and I'm just really happy that he's decided to run again, and he's just an awesome guy, so I appreciate that. And then our mayor, Mike Nelson, I will tell you what, him and I disagreed on things when he first came on, and it was in a respectful way, but we definitely didn't always see eye to eye. But I will tell you that having gotten to know him and being up here, he's one of the most honest, good people. He's smart, and ultimately, the best part is he has a great vision for what's best for Atwater. And I've been wrong on a few different things where he's ended up being right, and he's just going to be what's best for Atwater. And I think it's exciting to see what comes next with him as mayor. So so just wanted to say those things. So anyways, with the, I won't get too sappy because I'm kind of an emotional guy. I'm kind of a guy, and there's like half of Atwater in here. So, and I'm told you're not supposed to get emotional when you're in politics, but no, I want to thank the people of Atwater for holding me accountable, not letting me, just holding me accountable. If there's things that, you disagree with, you can hear from it in Atwater. Atwater's a community where there's plenty of people that have great perspectives on things that come to city council meetings, and that's part of what makes Atwater great. But some people are also kind of critical, and that's awesome. I think that's what makes Atwater great too. And then, obviously, I want to thank my family and friends for supporting me, and most importantly, my wife, my amazing wife. She's always had my back. I know that's kind of cliche to say, but every decision I've made, especially a big decision, has always been made with my wife as a team, and as much of a joy it was to serve Atwater, my wife and I knew pretty early on that this was going to be a one-term thing. And like I said, it's not because it wasn't a joy to serve. But yeah, my wife's my teammate, and I just thank God that she's in my life every day. And I also pray for this next city council, and so that's pretty much it. So thank you, Atwater, and God bless.
So now we're going to give Tyler a plaque.
Esmeralda, I'll give you the honor of going first.
Good evening, and I just want to take a quick moment to celebrate your years of service, 4 years. It goes by fast, but I know that it's a lot of work. And so on behalf of the California State Assembly, we did want to recognize Councilmember Button for his dedication, for giving back to your community, and for providing ideas to improve the lives of the people that live here in the city of Atwater. So I want to commend you and wish you much success and luck in your next endeavor. And I'm sure you'll stay involved in some shape or form because you love the city of Atwater. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, he was right. We didn't agree on things early on, but we got to know each other better, and he came around to my point of view, most things. So I appreciate that. So we're going to give you this plaque, Tyler. I'm going to go ahead and read it. I normally don't read these things, but I'll read this one. Whereas Tyler Button was appointed council member of District 2 on December 14, 2020, and whereas he has faithfully served the city of Atwater for the last 4 years as a council member, and whereas Tyler has contributed greatly to his community and the governmental process of the city, now therefore let it be resolved by the City Council of the City of Atwater that they hereby express their sincere gratitude and appreciation to Tyler Button for his service to the City of Atwater and his community in his capacity of council member. Be it further resolved that an embossed copy of this resolution be presented to Tyler Button. And the resolution was adopted at the regular meeting of the City Council of Atwater on December 9th, 2024.
Now is the time where we're going to give the oath of office to the city council members, the city clerk, and the city treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'd like to clarify the process surrounding the oath of office this evening for council members, city clerk, and city treasurer. The official, legal, and binding oath of office were administered prior to the start of the city council meeting. The oaths conducted during the meeting are ceremonial in nature, serving as a public acknowledgement of the official's commitment to the duties they're about to receive. It is an opportunity to include the community in this important moment. We appreciate your understanding and continued engagement in supporting the values and transparency and tradition that guides our city government. This evening, we will begin the oath of office with Calissa Rochester. The oath is going to be done by the Honorable Judge Bacciarini. You will come forward.
Thank you. Okay, good afternoon or evening, everyone. And please raise your right hand. Do you, Calissa Rochester, solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter. If so, say I do.
Next will be Councilmember John Kale, oath administered by his wife, Phila Kale.
Do you, John G. Kale, solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, and that you take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter?
I do, so help me God.
Next will be City Treasurer Mark Borba, oath administered by community member Roger Wood.
Well, it's an honor, Mark, to swear you in. Do you, Mark Borba, solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter? Well, congratulations and good luck on your quest. I want to say that he is on a quest to tie the tenure that the late Jimmy Heller did as treasurer of our great city.
Next, we have Corey Billings, and to do his oath, we have Miss Merced County's outstanding teen, Hallie Billings, and his son to hold the Bible for him.
Do you, Corey J. Billings, solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter?
I will.
Okay, at this time, we're having the changing of the guard. Tyler, sorry, you have to vacate your seat. Yes, on your way out, sure, do it. You're going that way, go for it.
And then we also have from Soria's office as well. Esmeralda Soria would like to come, Assemblymember Esmeralda Soria would like to come forward and give certificates to the newly electeds.
Okay, well, let's have Tyler do his, since we're right in the middle of that. Go do that, take your photos. Yeah, go ahead and do it. It's fine. Okay, now I'd like to invite Kalisa Rochester up to take her seat, please. Okay, and welcome to the dais. And Esmeralda Soria, Assembly Member Esmeralda Soria has some certificates to present also.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I did want to just extend my congratulations to each and every one of the council members that were elected this cycle, re-elected for those folks that were re-elected, and congratulate Councilwoman Rochester for her first election. I do have certificates on behalf of the California State Assembly in recognition of your election, and just want to say good luck in the next 4 years. I also just want to continue to say that I'm here to work with you guys as a partner as you guys work on the issues that matter the most to the residents of the city of Atwater. I want to continue to work with you guys to make sure that we bring resources here to our area. So congratulations. I do have certificates for all the council members, and then as well for our clerk and our treasurer. So congratulations to all of you.
Okay, at this point, the ceremonial portion is completed, and if you were here for that and you're ready to go home, now's your time to. Yeah, but that's different. So you don't have to. You're welcome to stay. That's fine. But if you want to leave, now's the time to do that. Okay, so for the new council, could we have the roll call, please?
Ambrose.
Here.
Kale.
Here.
Raymond.
Here.
Rochester.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Do we have any subsequent need items?
Mayor, there are none.
Okay, we need to approve the agenda as posted. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion to approve the agenda as posted.
Second.
Motion by Raymond, second by Ambrose. Kale.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Rochester.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, we have one other, excuse me, oath of office this evening. Item 4, oath of office for police officer. Newly appointed police officer Anna Reyes, and Chief Salvador is going to give her the ceremonial oath of office.
Mr. Mayor, members, council, Michael Salvador, your police chief. It is my distinct pleasure and great honor to swear in Miss Anna Reyes. Anna has come through the department. She was hired as a dispatcher. She walked into my office and she said, "You know, Chief, I'd like to be a police officer someday." And I said, like, okay, we might be able to make that happen. And with the grace of the council, we were actually able to do that. She was the 5th officer that we put through the academy in 2024. and she just recently graduated in November. And she's going to be really, really special to me because she will be the last person I swear in as an official act as Chief of Police. So with that, Anna, please raise your right hand. Do you, Anna Reyes, solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter. Congratulations. You got somebody to come up, can you? Why don't you come on up, young man? All right, here you go. This is how it works, okay? You open it up, take that out, and you try not to stab your mama. Okay, can you do that? Here you go. She'll help you. There you go. Congratulations.
Officer Reyes, on behalf of the City Council, we want to welcome you to Atwater officially as a police officer. Best of luck to you. All right, now our first action here, consent calendar.
Background information has been provided on all matters listed under the consent calendar, and these items are considered to be routine. All items under the consent calendar are normally approved by one motion. If a council member requests separate discussion on any item, that item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate action.
All right, is there any public comment regarding the consent calendar? If so, please come forward. Okay, seeing nobody come forward, I'm now closing public comment. Are there any items on the consent calendar that council would like to remove for separate discussion and possible action? Okay, I do have one, just a note for the record, not pulling it off, but on the committee reorganization, since Tyler's no longer up here, Khalees has been appointed to several different committees there. And also I want to make note that John Kale is going to be serving as pro tem for this year. Yep. Okay. Vote.
Motion to approve the consent as posted.
Second.
Okay, motion by Raymond, second by Kale. Kale?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Rochester?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, now we're going to move on to public hearings. Item 13. And Mike, can you shut that door, please? Getting a draft in here. Okay, item 13, appeal of the Planning Commission non-approval on November 20th, 2024 regarding application for conditional use permit number 24-24-0100 and site plan number 24-24-0200 for a mini storage located at Bell Drive between Truckee Drive and Shasta Drive, APN 001-134-012. All right, so I got a script here for this one. This item is an appeal of the Planning Commission's November 20, 2024 non-approval concerning what I just read. Okay, I'm not going to read it again. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to the authority contained in the Atwater Municipal Code, as well as procedural requirements created by case law. My role as mayor will be to act as the presiding officer of this hearing. The City Council's role in this matter is to decide whether to grant the appeal application for approval of a site plan and conditional use permit in conjunction with this project. Here is the hearing process. The contents of the appeal and its supporting evidence are before the council. The appeal will proceed as follows. 1, I will open the public hearing and city staff will first present a staff report. 2, the appellant will then present its appeal and any evidence related to its appeal. 3, members of the city council may then ask questions of either the appellant or city staff. 4, members of the public will then have an opportunity to comment on the appeal. As normal, each speaker will have a maximum of 3 minutes. 5, appellant will then have an opportunity to present additional evidence in rebuttal to points raised by the public or questions posed by city council. The council may also ask staff to provide additional information, clarification, or respond to questions. We are now ready to proceed in this matter. Madam Clerk, do we have proof of publication of this appeal hearing?
Yes, Mayor, we do.
Okay. Presentation of the staff report. Staff may now present their report and any recommendations.
We have a PowerPoint presentation, do we not? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council for your consideration of this item this evening. Just a little bit about the project. It is a project for a mini warehouse, or what we consider a mini storage, located at the intersection of Truckee and Bell Drive. The project consists of several structures on site with site improvements, including paving, landscaping, and vertical construction. The project sits on about a 5-acre project site and is consistent with this use is consistent with the zoning and the general plan designation for this particular parcel. It's important to note that some time ago, the City Council elected to rezone this property as business park, which would make it consistent with its general plan designation from since about 2004. In the business park zone or district, several uses are allowed or contemplated under the municipal code, from office, commercial, all the way through industrial uses. A mini warehouse is a relatively low impact use for this particular zone or district. Go ahead. So this shows the proposed project site. It is just outside the gated community of Bell Crossing along Bell Drive. And again, this project is zoned business park. Next, So this shows that although that there are vacant properties around here, it's a well-developed area with streets, curbs, sidewalks, street lighting, and residential and other commercial uses within the immediate vicinity. This also shows some views that show the kind of the quality of the project and the projects that the applicant has already been involved in from other communities. It shows security features as well as the a architecture that would integrate into the surrounding areas very, very well. This shows the zoning for that property as business park. This shows the project area. On the screen right now, what's shown is the different zones or district that would be allowed in a business park overlay. Conventional office commercial, thoroughfare commercial, general commercial, and light and industrial uses, which could cover anything from warehousing, truck transport depots, cemeteries, and emergency shelters for homeless. Like I said, this particular use is a relatively low threshold use. This shows the configuration of the structural improvements. This shows you the vertical construction, which would house not only the offices for operation, but on-site management, which would act in part as security for the site. This is the conclusion that staff has with regard to the presentation, but I am available to answer any questions you might have regarding the project.
Are there any questions for Greg prior to hearing the appellant's presentation?
I do have a question, Mayor. My question is that the staff report cites the Class 32 CEQA exemption for the project, which applies to the infill development on sites that are no more than 5 acres.
Correct.
However, when I read in the packet and looked at the parcel, it looks like it's 5.5 acres. So I'm wondering if you can clarify like how the project would qualify for CEQA exemption despite it appearing to exceed the acreage.
Absolutely. When applying our measuring stick, so to speak, of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA is very, very clear. It knows no boundaries. So we have to classify a project as the size of the project and not necessarily as the size of the parcel. So although a acreage amount was was assigned to it on an assessor's plat. Assessor's plat is not a survey and or anything that you can use for justification besides anything other than a tax bill. So in this particular case, any easements that the applicant would not be including into their project area, such as our rights of way and our sidewalks and those things that are already administrated by the city, would not count towards a determination of acreage under a Class 32 exemption. So although the parcel may be assessed at 5.5 acres, the project itself does not exceed an envelope of 5 acres, which allows a Class 32 exemption. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Mayor, I have a question. Deputy City Manager Thompson. So it's my understanding the Planning Commission's role is dealing with land use. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is this private property?
Yes.
Okay. Was it for sale previously?
The property was previously owned by the housing successor for the city of Atwater. We sold it to a private individual who then the city was responsible for the rezone under the authority of the council. And then I believe the individual applicant right now is in purchasing it from the person that bought it from the city.
Okay. So that said, there are private property rights, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And this meets the zoning requirements?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. The applicant may now present its appeal.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff. My name's Pat Corrigan. I live in Oakdale, California. I'm appealing this to the council because the Planning Commission wouldn't second it, so they didn't take a vote on it. And I think it's a good project. I built 3 of these mini storages before. We're a family-owned business. It's me and my son, and we employ a lot of local people when we do this. In fact, a lot of our people come right out of Merced and Atwater, our concrete crews. We do all the work ourselves on the project, and I just think it's a good infill project. It's low impact, not a lot of trips per day. It's a good buffer zone for anything around there as far as residential's concerned. And I hope that you approve the project. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Okay, stand by.
Yeah, I do. It talks about 24-hour security and 24-hour management. So are the people going to be living in that facility also? Is that what you're doing, or do you put a shift of people in there?
No, we have a on-site manager that actually handles the security of the place too, and they'll be living there 24/7.
Okay, living there. Okay. Yeah. Good, great, thank you.
You made mention that you are going to be employing people from the area here. Is that just your on-site manager, or
no,
you going to have
everything will go out to bid. We're going to use a local concrete company. we want to do everything locally that we can, and usually you get your best prices when you use local contractors and subs. Most of the stuff we do ourselves with our employees.
Okay, so but that's just for the construction of the mini storages here. How about for your actual employees? Well, what other benefits will this project bring to our city?
There'll be 3 to 4 employees, and we'll put it out to hire locally, and we'll pick the best ones we can.
That's all I have for right now.
Now we're at public comment. We're in a public comment. Yep. Okay, so the city council has asked questions. I guess we're done with that. Thank you very much for making your presentation. Feel free to have a seat there.
Appreciate it.
We're going to move on to public comments. If there are any members of the public who wish to speak on this appeal, please come forward. You will have 3 minutes to speak.
Andy Krodick, incoming president of the Merced County Association of Realtors. Councilman Raymond, did you ask if it met the zoning requirements, the project?
Yes, I did.
It's a private property rights issue. It's a no-brainer to me. Should approve it. Thank you.
Next. Welcome.
Excuse me if I read.
That's fine.
Nervous. City Council members, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. I stand before you as a concerned member of our Bell Crossing community and wish to voice my personal objection to the construction of the mini storage facility. I understand that you've meticulously reviewed the proposals regarding the storage facility that's going to be built in our front door. I've read the application. I've seen that all the T's were crossed and all the I's were dotted. The lengthy application considers many aspects of the project, like traffic, pollution, even animals that habitat the land. And although there's lots of data, I'm not a civil engineer or environmentalist that could dispute any of that data. What I can say is the flaw in the application does not make consideration of the people of the neighborhood. I guess that's why when you look around today, you see so many fellow neighbors standing up, and they're going to speak on preserving our safety and our security. We choose to purchase our homes in a gated community to have peace of mind. Our homes were an investment for us financially. We paid a premium to include the extra valued security. As you hear from my fellow neighbors, we are all worried about the increase of crime, our children's safety, lower property values, and the overall change to the character of our neighborhood. There are not statistics that are quantified in the application or measured in zoning laws that changed after I purchased my house. Yet the realities are, as residents, we feel deeply. To speak plainly, we want to protect our homes, our children, our sanctuaries, and we, the people, have concerns with the presence of such a facility being right outside our gates. The last year, we have already seen a rise in vandalism with the cost of the cleanup coming from our HOA pockets. We've had an increase of vagrants this year, resulting in multiple fires set by homeless, putting the homes and families at risk. Our community already has a feel of the squeeze of the troubles of today's world, and allowing this facility to be built right at our doorstep seems careless and an unwanted risk. In hearing of this development, I did an internet search, and I found many news reports and crimes reported that these facilities are concerning. 6 months ago, reported by the Merced Sun, 5 people were arrested in Merced as part of a national drug trafficking operation called Operation Red Rooster, where the self-storage facility was at the center of the operation for fentanyl and methamphetamine drugs, transporting and storage for gangs. 4 years ago, reported by CBS and the Central Valley News, Durrell Storage on Santa Fe, Merced, was the location of over 150 burglaries that occurred in 1 year. That facility site had a living management too, just like this proposed facility is. In August, the Modern Storage Media, an industrial website, over 40 years of publication said crime plagues the self-storage facilities in the national level. California leads the nation in self-storage theft, only behind Texas. I urge you to reconsider these experiences and testimonies before planning a hub of potential criminal activity 50 feet from where our children pick the bus up every day to go to school. Ask yourselves, would you want this development at your doorstep? Let us prioritize the safety and integrity of our community over mere compliance to regulations. We want our voices to resonate with your decision.
Okay, I thought that was I thought that was somebody's phone ringing. We've changed the timer, but yeah, your time's up.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Seth Fisher. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I've lived here in Atwater basically my whole life, give or take a few years. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, lived here, like I said, my whole life. I've owned businesses here in Merced and Atwater. I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, been through a lot in my life. I lived a couple years in Merced, didn't really like it. It's pretty crazy over there. Atwater's always been awesome. And so, when I moved to Bell Crossing in 2021, I found peace, It is a very peaceful, happy community. It's a community where the children are playing in the streets, where, you can let them, in Merced, you would never let your child go walk out on the street, even, to the curb in front of your house. And so, it's such an awesome community so far. This concerns me because of the safety reasons. I'm sure Mr. Kerrigan has great intentions for his business, and I'm sure he doesn't mean for anything bad like that to happen. However, I think with a storage facility, things like this will happen. And so for me, I am very concerned about the safety of our children, the safety of everybody, as far as like, there could be theft, there could be, bad stuff, drug trafficking, stuff like that could happen. And I'm also concerned about the bugs and the rats that come from, places like this, because people sometimes, they put like dirty stuff in there, whatever. And so these are my concerns. So I strongly urge you guys to reconsider this. I do know there needs to be something there. It's been, unoccupied for such a long time. I do know we need something there. I'm just not sure if this is the right thing. Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Next.
Good evening, Mayor, City Manager, City Council. My name is Ernie Ochoa, and I've been a member of this community almost all my life. I graduated Atwater High School in 1991, go Big Blue, and I got into the real estate industry back in 1998. And so I've been pretty involved in this community. I started as a chamber member, and now I'm on the Merced College Board of Trustees. So my point of all that is that, I love this community, and I care about what happens to this community. And the proposed mini storage at this site off of Bell Drive, I believe is a good thing for the city of Atwater, not just for the tax revenue, but just to see something develop there finally on those 5 acres. And the alternative, I guess, as a commercial agent here in Merced County, I think about, okay, what other options would be available to those 5.5 acres. And the first one that comes to mind is multifamily would be an alternative to the development of that 5-acre parcel. And on 5 acres, developer would easily be able to build anywhere from 100 to 120 units. And something like that would have a much, much higher impact, much higher activity, to the neighborhood, which is a beautiful neighborhood. Bell Crossings has been around since, I believe, 2005. And then the other alternative that comes to mind is retail. However, the private sector has decided that the highest and best use for that property is a mini storage, because the current seller of the property had plans to build a mini storage, and the owner previous to this current owner also had plans to build a mini storage. And I just can't see retail, ever being developed on those 5 acres, just because of the competition with the Target and Walmart Applegate Shopping Center. And looking at the city, we currently have 4 mini storages throughout the city, and they're all on the north side of Atwater, servicing this part of the community. There are no other mini storages on the south side, so I think it'd be a big benefit for all of our community members on the south side. And I do see it providing a lot of other opportunities for our local vendors, such as gardeners, security. I believe the developer is also going to have monthly pest control to deal with a lot of those critters and varmints that we see here in Atwater. So thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else? Come on up.
My name is Sally Moss, excuse me, and I don't even live over on that side, but I do have an opinion. Ernie said we have 4 storage units. Actually, we do have one over on Commerce. The storage units that are servicing right now, they're practically empty. We don't need another storage unit. We don't, especially when that magnitude. We don't. If you're going to bring something to the city of Atwater, bring something that Atwater needs. Don't bring something that we already have. No one's using. And the ones that are being used, they're being filled with virus out there, being broken into. Bring something that Atwater needs. Don't bring us something else we already have.
Good evening. My name is Donna Perry, and I live at Bell Crossing, and I've lived there for 12 years, and I feel safe there. My concern is not only that there's a mini storage that might bring violence, might bring, rodents, bugs, or whatever else. What about our property values? What's going to happen to those? We have this mini storage in front of our homes. Who, if we sell, are we going to get what we paid for our homes? That's one of our concerns. And the other concern is, well, it's not even a concern, it's a comment. Do any of you here on this city council have mini storages in front of your home? And would you want them in front of your home with your children, family, or anyone else? Would you want that in front of your homes? We don't want that in front of ours.
Okay, so we know there's a lot of pros and some cons to this. I would ask you to please not do the clapping. I'd like to get this thing moving along here. We have another hearing after this. So, just saying. Okay, yes, sir.
Alrighty, good evening, everybody. I'm Jose Villegas. I'm part of the Bell Crossing community, right? I would like to share something with you, right? I work as a quality manager for the food industry. I was also in the military. I live in many parts of the United States, America. I'm originally from the valley. I came back home. I selected a Bell Crossing community to be my home again, right? My house, as the rest of us here, I believe there's my neighbor back there, right? That mini storage is gonna be sitting right behind my backyard. It's gonna create pest control issues. We're gonna have traffic control challenges. We're also gonna have light pollution, industrial lights. I know how potent and how powerful those lights are. Just imagine being in your backyard, celebrating birthday party or celebrating a special occasion and having all the luminescence in your backyard, in your bedroom. Going back to pest control, I know we are fighting nature. As a quality manager, I fight with pest control on a daily basis. No matter how much chemicals I utilize, how much pest control resources I apply, there's always rodents, cockroaches, right? You name it. All of that is gonna migrate into the houses that we currently own without hesitation. Now imagine all the traffic control that is gonna be in the area. As of right now, we don't have a great security because of the Atwater area is always transient by a lot of traffic. And Highway 99, getting in and out, just imagine the mini storage facility with all the trucks, people that we don't even know, migrating inside of the gates. Property values are gonna fall. And again, the question that this lady asked, does any of you guys have any mini storage behind your house? Or the gentleman that is a developer has a mini storage in front of his front yard or in the backyard? I would like to stand the opportunity to reject this project.
All right, thank you. Next person.
Good evening, everybody. Adam Reed, Atwater resident, lifelong resident of Atwater. I don't really know much about this project, and I was at home watching the council meeting, and I've always been an advocate for property rights, and hearing some of the stuff, it seems, and knowing Atwater and formerly sitting on the planning commission, and being involved in development back to the early 2000s. Whenever that property was originally developed, this was part of the property that was developed, and it was zoned, and land use was assigned to it. And it's always, as far as I know, it's always had some sort of a commercial type of land use, whether it was planned development, but the underlying land uses were commercial. So it's always been known that it was going to be something someday. I mean, people have property rights. People have the ability to develop their property. The city sets standards for that, and the public has the commenting ability at the time that stuff is set to voice their concerns. I don't know how long people have lived there. I know those houses haven't been there for too long. About a quarter of the subdivision was built originally, and a lot of it sat for a long time. But I'm a big advocate for property rights, and people have the right to do with their property what they would like within the defined boundaries of the law. So I feel for the people. Would I want a mini storage behind my house? Probably not. But I would rather have a mini storage than a hotel, or a truck parking lot, or a concrete plant, or something along that nature. And as far as traffic generation, if you look at the ITE standards for like peak hour trip generation, mini storage is like 0.14 per 1,000 square foot of trips per day, whereas something like even a small strip commercial center is like 3.4 all the way up to like 6 trips per 1,000 square feet per day. So it's a really low intensity use. So I'm not saying which way you guys need to vote or asking you to vote either way. I'm just giving you my opinion on it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Come on up.
Mr. Mayor, council members, my name's Roberts. I've come up here to speak on other projects before. I don't have any vested interest in this one, but as you may recall, I did 8 years on on a planning commission, in which period I learned a lot, especially about California law and property rights. Now, as all of you probably know, but I feel like the planning commission may have forgotten, as well as many of the folks here today, the city doesn't decide directly what happens here. You can provide a general plan as provisioned under California state law, and that kind of provides the general vision for the city. But what somebody brings and what they put where is determined by the zoning. What I heard so far tonight was a lot of I think this and I think that without any specific data to actually back it up. And your obligation, as you're well aware, is to make specific findings. That means that you have to evaluate the data on the conditional use permit. As of right now, all I see is an incredibly detailed analysis from your city staff that is all in favor of this and says that it's consistent with the use and the zoning in this area. Everything from interface requirements and on. And so, in my opinion, as the law dictates, the burden at this point is to, if you're going to deny it, is to provide very specific legal reason. What does it endanger, and what data do you have to back that it does? If you don't, and it's an I feel, I think, that's not how this works under the law. It's objective standards that you have to comply with. So I'd be curious about the data. I think probably the first thing that comes to mind, not having been able to read the full staff report in this time period, I would be curious about possibly data like traffic counts and crime statistics from other self-storage within the city, which I'm sure is data that's fairly readily available, as one of the things that I would say as potential counter to some of the concerns tonight. But that being said, I'm also very property rights oriented. This land has been zoned in general plan for this use for a very, very long time. Anybody that bought property around it, if they failed to do that due diligence, that's unfortunate. But there are significantly higher impact uses that could go in here without a hearing at all and go straight to permit. So I think overall, if most people sat down and looked at the data, they would understand that this is actually a win for their neighbor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening, City Council. Thank you for your time tonight. I'd like to express how myself and members of my community inside of Bell Crossing do not believe in mini storage built practically in front yards of our friendly little community that already deals with homeless in the area is a good idea. Homeless in the area have already been lighting fires behind the walls, as multiple fires have been reported this past summer and the summer before. Just a few weeks ago, we actually had an incident inside of a community resulting in a homeless man threatening multiple members of the community with violence. We have had an increase in gang graffiti in the area, along with homeless starting fires near the community itself and behind the tractor supply inside of Atwater, resulting in multiple phone calls for dedicated officers and the fire department. The increase in foot traffic can potentially raise concerns for drug trafficking as seen in June of this year in many stores located in Merced, and the potential for more homeless to camp at or near the storage unit, as there's already homeless camping behind the tractor supply. My question to you, if you were to approve it, would be, would you want a mini storage in your front yard, or would the gentleman who's from outside our community in Oakdale proposing this want a storage unit instead of his front yard?
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I see nobody else come forward. Hold on a second here. All right, some clarification there. Okay, the appellant may now present any rebuttal he would like to respond to any comments made by anyone else during this hearing. If you have any further comments, Mr. Corrigan.
Mayor, council members, staff, they brought up a lot of things. I don't think there's much I can say that can make any of these people happy with building a mini storage there. But I can say this, it's not going to lower their property values. Bugs and rodents are not going to be a problem. We hire a company that comes in. I've owned these things for over 20 years, and the last thing I want is a place where cockroaches or bugs or anything else is a problem. We hire good managers. As far as homelessness, we're not going to change the homelessness in that area. I mean, the homelessness they have is what they're going to have. And as far as drug dealing out of there, I've had the one up in Paradise for over 20 years. I've never had any drug dealing there. I've had the one in Hanford for 7 years. I've never had any drug dealing problems there. And I think their concern is they don't want it in their backyard. So, all I got to say.
Alrighty. Thank you. We're done with public comment.
I want to respond.
We're done with
Can I respond to the comments? That's what he was doing.
No, because then we have to open up a public comment again. We're done with that.
Okay. Well, they don't want apartments there.
Okay. Does council have any further questions of staff? Lisa.
I do have one question. I heard one of the residents talk about the lighting in his backyard and the light shining in his backyard. And I'm wondering if there's anything that could potentially be done to mitigate that through the planning process.
Actually, that's a very good question. We have standards for illumination on commercial projects already cooked within our plans and specifications. One of the things that we want to make sure and note is that there will be no two-story buildings along the alignment of the fence for the gated community. So any lights that would be attached to the buildings, for example, for security purposes, would be below the threshold of the fence. Any of the exterior lighting would be along the street, and a lot of it is already present.
And there is a required 10-foot easement from their fence line to where the mini storages would be built, right?
Are you talking about setback?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, there is not required to be a setback between the separation of uses in this particular case for BP. They have elected to provide a setback.
I thought that I read that. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Chief Salvador, I know you're taking a nap over there, getting ready to get out of here. I just have a question. How many calls for service would you say we have at the mini storage places?
I would say that the mini storages here in Atwater are probably some of the most safest mini storages that we've had. I heard the comments about Red Rooster. Could that happen in Atwater? I would lie to you and say it would never lie to you and say it could never happen. Okay. We had cartel grows in the subdivision across the street in the subdivision. So to say that it will never happen, that's not the case. But with the traffic issues and the widths of the streets and the area that it's in, we put conditions on lighting. We put conditions on landscaping. We put conditions on security. And the applicant so far has complied with all our conditions. So in the sense of could be, maybe, most likely in this particular community, one of the things that is good about it is it's developing on a vacant lot that could very well be attractive to nefarious activity and unhoused population.
Thank you. And so with that too, our role up here is not to control how many employees a business hires. Irrelevant. We're getting off topic. This is a land use issue. That's why we're here. And it's zoned accordingly. So that's what we're here for, to make that case. It's not about the jobs, not about all the other stuff. It's about the land use. And if, unfortunately, it's going to sound heartless, but I do feel for you guys. But we had the property up for sale and the HOA didn't submit an offer. So somebody else bought the property, so they have those property rights. So I understand, I feel for you, but it's as a land use issue, which is what we're up here to govern. Since the Planning Commission failed to move it, the gentleman has a right to appeal. He's done it. He's right, because it is a land use issue. So that's all I have to say.
Any questions down at this end?
So I just need clarification, Greg, if you don't mind. So you mentioned that there's different types of businesses, or it's zoned for many different things. So would a tire shop work there?
It could.
Some type of entertainment business or something there, as long as it's one story, selling stuff. It's not may not be appropriate for some of our residents.
Yeah, Councilmember Ambrose, you are correct. And so when we look at zoning is basically the police for land use, okay? And we have to look at it in three kind of different categories: permitted uses, prohibited uses, and those uses that would be provided under a use permit or a conditional use permit, which allows us to apply conditions that allow findings to be made, some of which you're being asked to make tonight. In a business park overlay, it provides for a just plethora of uses. I feel weird using that word, but anything from office commercial, things like medical offices, things like that, all the way through industrial uses like tire shops, or even in some cases, things that are not required to have a conditional use permit, which I think one of the speakers brought up: cemeteries, truck depots, warehousing. There's a lot of those uses that are by right uses that all they would have been provided to do without public hearing is submit a site plan, and wouldn't even have come to the Planning Commission or to the City Council because it's a by right use, as long as they meet the development standards. This is an opportunity that allows us to have a pre-application meeting and to sit down with the applicant and deal with Public Works and law enforcement and make the applicant do proper traffic counts on VMT and establish that it is low threshold impact to those kinds of things. So yeah, there's a lot of those uses, Danny, that don't even have to have all that done, that we would have probably just been subject to the submittal of a site plan and then had to deal with it. So as far as low threshold impacts or projects, this is one of the better ends of the stick from strictly a planning and an operational and an engineering perspective.
Thank you for the clarification on that. And as for my question earlier about the benefits of employees, I'm sorry, Councilman Raymond, but the gentleman said that he's creating jobs for our residents, which is why I asked the question. He said 3 to 4. Everything else was just for, 6 months maybe? Yeah, that's going to benefit us a little bit, but bear with me here. How many residents are from that area here tonight? Just raise your hand. Now, can I just get one hand for households? Now, those who are raising your hand, do you guys?
Mr. Ambrose, right now what we're doing is we're asking the staff any further questions, and we can deliberate. We can deliberate after I close the public hearing.
Thought you already closed that.
No, I haven't done that yet.
Got it.
I've closed public comment, but the public hearing is still open.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. No further questions.
Thank you.
John, do you have anything?
Yep, I'm good, thank you.
Well, Brian asked my question about how many complaints. There is that mini storage over there on Green Sands and East Broadway, and it backs up to a residential neighborhood. I was just curious how many complaints we've gotten over there. Yeah, none. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to close the public hearing. The council will now deliberate and act on the appeal. At this point, the council has heard all the information related to this appeal. If no action is taken, or if there is a deadlocked vote, or any motion otherwise fails, the Planning Commission's failure to approve the project becomes the final decision. The City Council has the following options. 1, if the council wishes to grant the appeal, If the council wishes to grant the appeal request to approve the site plan and conditional use permit, it may do so and should move to adopt the resolution contained in the agenda packet. 2, if the council wishes to deny the appeal, it should direct staff to prepare a resolution overruling the appeal. That resolution must be based on reasons given by the City Council tonight. The City Council will now deliberate. Does any council member wish to go first?
All right, I'd like to hear what Danny was going to.
Go for it.
The residents voted me here for a reason. I understand those who are speaking for it, but again, the residents in my district are not wanting this here. I believe we can do something better, or excuse me, landowner can do something better. What made you think, or even previous owners, what made them think that a mini storage is the best thing for that spot? Yes, we get tax revenue, but what's the appeal of it? We have multiple storage units already. Why are we bringing more? Why do we want to be like our neighboring city where all the residents say all they have are tire shops and coffee shops? Pretty soon we're going to be known just for mini storages. That's just my 2 cents on this.
Okay, thank you. John, did you have something?
Yeah, I find it really hard to relate crime with a mini storage. Yeah, I remember when they had mini storage at Champaign and they were running drugs and everything. But this owner said he's got a number of them and hasn't had any problems. I agree that there are times when we could say no, and this landowner gets to choose what he wants to do with his land. A couple of years ago, we had a number of people that came out and said, I do not need a gas station by my house on Linton Way. Can't believe the 2 brothers who own that gas station have made it into an awesome place. This is a land use state, and this guy wants to build something there, and apparently no, the housing prices won't go down. I could do the same thing that Danny did by asking how many people ever put storage in a storage shed, because I know I have a number of times, and I sure like it close. I want it to be close to my house. Would I run it next to mine? Probably not, but you know what? If it had to be, okay, it is. It will be. I'm good with that. Okay, that's it. Go ahead.
Now at this end.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the appeal of the Planning Commission decision of November 20th, 2024 regarding an application for conditional use permit number 24-24-0100 and site plan number 24-24-0200 for a mini storage located at Bell Drive between Truckee Drive and Shasta Drive, Atwater APN 001-134-012.
And I'll second.
And to clarify, you said approve, but you mean grant the appeal.
Grant the appeal.
Grant the appeal.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second to grant the appeal request. So now we will have the vote.
Okay, motion by Riemann, second by Kale. Kale?
Yes.
Ambrose?
No.
Raymond?
Yes.
Rochester?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
That concludes this appeal hearing. Thank you all for your participation. take a brief. Oh, I just. We're not going to be answering any questions here tonight, sir. You're welcome to. You're welcome to. You're welcome to contact any of us through our email or our phone calls. Do it. Do it. Okay, now we'll move on to the next item, which is a report and presentation from staff. Request the City Council direction on potential modifications to the existing improvement plans for the Fruitland Avenue Phase 3 reconstruction project. City Manager will give this report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. It looks like we've got fewer people in here now that maybe everyone can take a seat. There's a few open seats now that you don't have to keep standing if you don't want to. This item is about Fruitland Avenue. This item is on the agenda because at the last City Council meeting in November, Councilmember Ambrose asked the council to bring this back for discussion. This item, we staff met with a property owner on Fruitland Avenue. His name is Roger Wood, and discussed some possibilities. And what we came to was what's shown in the staff report, which is two options. The first is to continue with the status quo, which is to continue the Fruitland project. When we've assessed this project and given the fact that we're already under contract with a contractor to complete the construction of this project, and it's already underway, staff is recommending that we go forward with that option. However, because this was brought back, requested to bring back for further discussion, another option would be a narrowing of Fruitland Avenue at a very specific portion of Fruitland Avenue. Only on the south side would the sidewalk be moved slightly north, and there would be no changes on the north side of Fruitland Avenue. So this would only affect the south side of Fruitland Avenue. The sidewalk would move. So that is staff's report, and we're here if you have any questions. Also, I'd like to introduce Michael Hayes. He's one of the project engineers is contracted with the city. He has been on this project, as well as Deputy City Manager Greg Thompson, for quite a few years. So if there's any institutional knowledge or questions the council has, or then we can lean on them for their support. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does council have any questions for staff? Go ahead.
I do have a question. I'm wondering, in terms of budget, where we are fiscally with the project, and are there any anticipated cost overruns or savings that we've seen?
I can answer this, and Greg, you can back me up if I misspeak. But so far, we've had numerous small items come forward from the contractor that are constraining the budget, and because of that, because it would otherwise be a gift of public funds, staff's recommending that the property owner that has proposed an alternative here would fund that alternative.
Anything else, sir? Any further questions?
I do.
Okay.
I would ask for the city manager to provide us with a brief summary of the Fruitland Avenue Phase 3 reconstruction project, including an overview of the civic engagement efforts that have been conducted so far to involve and address the concerns of the community.
I'd be happy to. And again, I have two experts here that, in case I miss something, please step in. This project originated in 2016. There was some public outreach that was done. The city contracted with an engineering company, VVH, to help us with this engineering feat. And that process included a plan to do outreach to the residents along Fruitland Avenue. Originally, that plan included some door-to-door knocking. However, the city council changed that direction due to the fact that VVH didn't have Spanish-speaking translators, and they were worried that there could be communication barriers. So the plan changed to have a public meeting where people could be engaged and mailers could be sent out to residents along Fruitland Avenue. So that happened, and there was a public workshop in October of 2016, I believe. And we have records of that meeting. And it was at that meeting that plans for Fruitland Avenue, as we see them today, were formulated.
Chris, if you don't mind. In addition to the initial meetings where we took a lot of input from the stakeholders and from the council and the policymakers at that time, with a lot of focus being on public safety, implementation of sidewalks, traffic calming measures because it would become a speed corridor, all those were inputted into the design. But in addition to those meetings that the city manager spoke of, we reinitiated a whole second round of stakeholders meetings in which we had them here in the council chambers with segments of the design up for different sections along Fruitland to participate in those public stakeholder meetings. In addition to those stakeholders meetings, we've also had the public meetings that we've had at both the Planning Commission, which acts as in part as your traffic committee or commission, and then at the city council as well at each stage of the design. So as far as public participation and access to these meetings, it's been probably double what we've had for other projects in which we always fulfill the needed or the requisite meetings at those other transportation projects. This probably has had double those meetings.
I do have one more question. So when I read the Measure V explanation of the Fruitland project, what I read is that there is a plan for traffic calming circles to be placed in front of Atwater High School to alleviate the traffic, the congestion. And I have a daughter, and I know for a fact that there has always been a problem in front of Atwater High School. So I'm wondering how we came to the conclusion that the traffic circles would not be placed in front of Atwater High School and instead would be placed on Fruitland East.
I don't know that I've personally ever seen any traffic calming measures in front of the high school. It's always been on the feeder streets that come up to the section that's between Winton Way and Schaefer. Michael's probably got a little bit better history of that and the communication we've had on some of the funding sources.
Sure. I just wanted to provide a little bit more information about your question, council member. There has never been a plan to put traffic calming measures like circles in front of the high school. There was consideration for a dedicated turn lane. That was not supported by the city's traffic engineer. There was also an idea to perhaps put a median in the street by the high school. It would have a short fence in order to deter students from crossing the street where there isn't a crosswalk. That was considered possibly a risk where students could try to cross and not get across and make it even more unsafe. So that was also taken off the table. The Measure V project descriptions that you're referring to were developed during the very short tenure of a certain city manager here without any input from staff, and I think it was an error.
I might like to add, and this was, I want to say 4 years ago, when I asked the same question at MCGA, and they said that was our mistake. They didn't, there was never supposed to be any calming measures around Atwater High School.
And it's important to add too on the funding sources, and Michael could potentially elaborate. A project like this is not going to get done with one single source of funds. It has to be daisy chained together through several sources, RSTP, some other forms of transportation funding, such as Regional Measure V, because of the regional importance that it has. But I think it's local match that we're spending on that.
Correct. There's no Regional Measure V
Yeah,
funding.
it's RSTP, local Measure V,
LTF.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that might be it.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, there could be some SB1 funding there.
Yeah. So, yeah, daisy chain funding and this being or any of the Measure V, like local match Measure V that we get to spend how we choose to spend it, it probably was misinterpreted or it was misprinted on their website. So we can, and we'll work with the clerk's office to get that restated through MCG so that there won't be shared confusion about that.
I know that you said that you've been involved in the project since the beginning. Do you have a cost estimate on what the city, has spent on Fruitland Avenue since its inception?
I couldn't tell you what the city has spent. I think the engineer's estimate when we first prepared the project in 2015 or 16 was about $4.7 million. That was in 2015 dollars. It was estimated it would take the city about 10 years of phased funding over these multiple sources to construct the project, and the city managed to get it out to bid a few years earlier than that.
I'm just curious, and I know we weren't going to pay to get it professionally done or anything, but why wasn't there any like drawing or anything to kind of show us what is being presented to us? Even if it's on the back of a napkin, something visual. Greg loves whiteboards. We could have rolled one in.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
Part of that is because this is a discussion at this point, and if the council were to decide to have staff work on this alternative, at that point we would commit resources towards developing those plans. But at this point, we didn't want to do that, because part of this recommendation, if we are to go with this alternative, to have the property owner fund this this effort, is a funding mechanism, a funding agreement that would fund that engineering work to be done.
So now I'm confused. You mentioned discussion and then approving the recommendation. So which one is it? Is a discussion? There's no business happening, right?
So it's a little bit more than discussion right now, because we have kind of conceptual ideas, and it's not. We wanted to bring something forward to council to look at, other than just coming here and saying, talk about whatever you want to talk about. So we did have a meeting with the property owner, and we've been working with him to find out what his thoughts are.
Right. Michael, maybe you can help me out here if I understood everything that's been told to me in the last couple of weeks or so. So was this section of Fruitland supposed to have any calming circles or any of those, what are they, buffers or so to make the road smaller there?
No. I believe this property is somewhere near the intersection of Strawberry, which is one of the legs that goes north of Fruitland. The concern for traffic calming was primarily along Fruitland and at the connectors to the south. It was observed by the traffic engineer through counts that were done in 2009 that it appeared people were using the streets between Bellevue and Fruitland to bypass traffic signals, because there are quite a few of them between Winton Way and Schaefer Road.
Okay. And what's being suggested, if I'm understanding this correctly, that means less material will be used in order to repave the road, and the sidewalk should be, is it going to be the same width as before, just further out, or?
Yeah, my understanding of the solution that the property owner has requested is to relocate the sidewalk approximately 9 or 10 feet into the roadway compared to the rest of the roadway to accommodate property.
I think, if you don't mind, I think what you're suggesting is, would the project experience cost savings because of a narrower roadway through there if we impose this particular alternative? And the answer is no, we would not experience a cost savings.
So even though less material is going to be used, there's no savings whatsoever?
It's not necessarily that there won't be any less material that will be used. It's a realignment of the sidewalk and the design services and everything else that the interruption that it's causing at this point during construction, I can't see in any feasible way that would create a savings per se, but we experience both sides of the ledger as the project moves forward, and we register all of those.
So you're correct, council member, that there would be less pavement, but it doesn't mean less materials overall. Because the flow line of the gutter would change, it impacts the drainage system and requires additional inlets, manhole connections, lateral piping that are not in the current plan.
Thank you very much, Michael. Again, this is something that even on a napkin visually would definitely help me with this here. I have nothing else right now.
I actually agree with Danny on that one. I'm not going to fight you this time.
Yeah, I kind of am too. But Michael, so if we extend this out and make this zigzag, how will that affect the grading and the draining system as it goes down the road? Is that going to impact? Because one of our biggest problems with that road is the draining system that we're having. That's why we wanted to do the road, is to protect that from happening again. So how would that pattern restrict or not restrict the flow of the drainage?
Well, extending the gutter into the street, as far as we are talking about, does create an impediment to flow because of the grading, and the mitigation for that would be an additional inlet to capture that water, or two. It remains to be seen. As the city manager pointed out, this has just been looked at a very conceptual level.
So we may have to put a potential drain in it too.
Right, it can be mitigated with drainage inlets. It's not something that would cause an unsafe ponding condition of water or something like that, if that was your question.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, so just to clarify, if we were to adopt the resolution, then what would be the next steps for the applicant, I guess?
Staff would then work with the property owner to develop the funding agreement, as well as and then work on engineered plans and bring back to the council for approval.
So there's an application required of some sort, a deposit for
Yes.
to pay for staff's time to do.
Yes, there would we would need that, and then at the end we would true it up with actual costs.
And a contract amendment to the existing construction contract.
Correct.
Okay, so if no other council comments, is there any public comment on this item? If so, please come forward. Thanks, Michael.
Mayor, I have one speaker card.
Okay.
It's for Roger Wood.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members.
My name is Roger Wood, and I reside at 1200 Fruitland Avenue. I was surprised to see the agenda item on Fruitland consisted of the ridiculous proposal that the city staff presented to me on November 25th. To sum it up, the city proposed saving only 6 of my 8 orange trees and charging me $40,000 to modify the Strawberry intersection across the street. I want to assure you that I did not agree with the proposal. It did not exist when Councilmember Ambrose asked for the Fruitland project to be put on today's agenda back on November 12th. My request that started this agenda item was to move the sidewalk by my 8 orange trees about 6 feet towards the center line. The city did this to save 2 very old sycamore trees next door to me. There were no modifications made on the opposite side of the street there. There is no valid reason that my sidewalk cannot be moved away from my orange trees in the same way as done for the 2 sycamore trees. There is no need to re-engineer drainage for the downhill slope of the product because it's downhill where I'm at, and there is no manholes or drain covers or any of that kind of stuff that has to be done. There's none there now, and there wouldn't need to be any later. The East Fruitland residents have also been opposed to the 3 traffic circles since we first learned of them. I recently learned the city proposed the circles on the high school side back in 2017 to MCAG. Somehow they found their way over to our side. Our street does not have any congestion, which was the rationale for putting them on the Fruitland West project. There are 5 residents who are negatively impacted by the Fruitland West project. There is still time to remove the circles from the Fruitland East project. Their removal would result in approximately $240,000 in savings. No construction work has been done to prepare for the circles. Stop signs or speed bumps on Fruitland at Laura would be a good way to slow the small amount of traffic that runs up and down our little street. Another item to consider tonight's budget is 12 traffic calming features. There are at least 7 that I would recommend eliminating. 2 are on the south side of the street west of 5th Street. This sidewalk has been around since 1970. Now the engineer wants to eliminate 2 parking places for these longtime residents. Parked cars have long provided traffic calming features in this area of Fruitland, as well in all the other standard residential streets in our town. There is also 6 of them located between Lower and Capitola. Talk about overkill. That's a quarter of a mile. Maybe 2 would suffice with a new curbside and gutter. Eliminating these unnecessary features will save $20,000. My suggestion save $260,000. I would hope that you vote to make the improvements I have suggested. The current plan makes Fruitland East the most expensive street in the city. Our lightly used street does not deserve this distinction. Thank you.
Time's up. Yep. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this issue?
When I took the center seat here back in 2015, I went to Scott McBride, who at the time was our city manager and development coordinator. And together we sat and we said, you know, let's look at these streets. At the time we had no Measure V funds, we had no SB1 funds. We looked at this in the practicality of it, starting with Winton Way. Once Measure V was passed, we all know what happened there. Okay, when we did look at Fruitland, and we mentioned that, yes, Michael is correct. It was $4.7 million in those dollars back then. What it would cost today is probably double that. The thing that Scott and I wanted to make sure was that we informed the residents all up and down there. Roger was one of those that came to our workshop and it was explained to him. But at no time were these ridiculous traffic circles ever a consideration. As a matter of fact, calming traffic flow wasn't even on the agenda. What it was to repave and make that section of street one of those that could be more easily driven, what have you. But the way this thing is morphed, guys, it's coming to the point where, in a lot of ways, this is a solution in search of a problem. And I want to tell you also, on the other end of Fruitland, down past the high school, going west, I'm living out on Village Woods. Anybody that hasn't driven down Fruitland, I invite you to do it. That is third world. Whoever went and tore up that street out there did one hell of a mess out there. And for us to drive on that right now, that is ridiculous. That is obscene, and it needs to be repaired right alongside of this. But right now, I agree with Roger. This is obscenely ridiculous. Traffic circles on a street like that, where one of them will come right to the front doorstep of one of the houses out there. And if anybody hasn't seen that, I encourage you folks to get out there, take a look at it, eyeball it, and start thinking, would you want to be living in that kind of an environment?
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilman. Members, Corey Billings, 3236 Heather Glen Lane. Heather Glen directly feeds onto Fruitland. At the beginning of this project, way back in 2017, I think the issue and the goal was to provide a safe environment for the neighborhood and a safe route for our children to get to school. It is 2024. We do not have a safe route for our children to go walking up and down Fruitland. We've had accidents there with children being hit by cars. It is time that you guys move forward and get us a safe road for our kids. And I believe that the project that's in front of you is the best way to do so.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Seeing nobody come forward, I'm going to close public comment. So at this point, the motion can be to proceed either with the status quo for the project, or someone can make a motion adopting the resolution to be numbered to direct the city manager to take the steps necessary to modify the project, which would include meeting with Mr. Wood and coming to some sort of agreement on the funding. So that's where we're at. So who would like to make a motion? Does anybody want to make a motion?
Are we going to have discussion first?
Well, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose. I thought we've been having it, but no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
And I just want to just a point of clarification. There are the two motions that the mayor just described. If neither motion passes, the staff is going to continue to move forward with the Fruitland Phase 3 status quo, because that has currently been the council direction, so that can't be reversed just because neither of these motions passes. So that status quo will proceed. Just wanted to clarify, unless there's a motion that signifies otherwise tonight.
Okay. Anybody have any questions, deliberations?
It's on record that I've never been a fan of this project, or this phase of it at least, and oh man, it kills me to say this. I agree with Jim Price. In all seriousness, though, the calming circles, we talked about drainage, and now safety. This was presented about safety, but then now the main thing's about drainage. So what's our concern for this main project? I know why we're talking about it tonight, but was this really a safety thing, or was it about drainage on the street? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I heard.
Would you like Greg to answer that question?
I thought he had more than 3 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan. I thought you had more than 3 minutes. But we're here because Mr. Wood's trees are going to get messed up. And we've known that for a long time. And this project is like, what a thorn in my side. It's my district. And I fought for this project for a long time because I truly believed in the providing safety for that area. And everybody's like, I hate roundabouts. I do too. There's one on Green Sands. I go down there to see my grandkids all the time. I hate it. But you know what? I drive slower. And before this, all I heard was, it is terrible down there. It's horrible driving down that road. And I saw it. It was. And when we went to agree to put the housing behind the bowling alley, all we heard was, we're going to get more traffic in our area. Let's put, but they're not going to be with roundabouts. They do slow things down. I'm sorry. But I hate that that someone's going to lose their trees. But please let this get over with and start working on it.
Mayor, can I make a comment, please?
You certainly may.
So I did go out to Fruitland Avenue. I spent about 2 hours with the residents on Fruitland Avenue. One of the homes that has a traffic calming circle going in front, there's probably about 20 feet from that resident's front door to the curb of the circle. And if we're talking about safety and concerns for resident safety, that is a major, major safety concern that I have. I don't know if those people have children or the residents have children or whatever, but I have a lot of concern for a circle going there. I wonder if we actually conducted a traffic study to determine whether or not we have a need for these circles. There are a lot of things that I feel like we could have maybe considered, and I just feel that the circles are just really not necessary. And the other thing that I have a sincere concern for is the fact that, and what I didn't know, is that there are some homes on the right-hand side of Fruitland Avenue, about 3 of them that are actually county residences, and so the city was not able to encroach there, so the sidewalk essentially is just going to die off. And so the residents will still be forced, or students would still be forced to actually find a safe mechanism to get to Atwater High School. So those are some things that I was enlightened of when I spent some time with the residents on Fruitland.
So, anything else? No? Okay. Now, would any council member like to make a motion regarding this item?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution. Do I need to say the whole thing, or? All right.
Do we have a second to that motion?
Mayor, so I have a question. Is this like Obamacare?
I'll make a second on that because I have something I want to say too. I can't make a second, can I? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Did you want to say something?
I'll just say it's like Obamacare, right? We have to pass it before we find out what's in it when we get the drawings back. So I'm not a fan of that.
Okay, so I made a second on this. It doesn't mean I'm voting for it. But because I did want to say, where I'm afraid of for the city, one, we have to do things to keep the city's liability at a minimum. And changing the recommendations of our staff leads to that. Secondly, if this is approved and Mr. Wood comes into an agreement with the city, then I'm afraid we're opening a can of worms for everybody else that lives on that street, and it's going to delay the construction and completion of that project. So I'm probably going to vote no, just to say. Okay, anybody else?
Motion by Ambrose, second by Nelson. Kale?
No.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond?
I don't like either option presented, so I'll vote no.
Rochester?
I echo Councilman Raymond. No.
Nelson?
No.
Motion fails.
Okay, well, that's that on that one. Okay, so now we're moving on to item 15, which is police chief employment agreement. City manager is going to talk about that and the council's role in this, since the police chief actually works for the city manager. But we'll take just a brief break here as people filter out. Whatever.
Okay. I'll try to go quickly because it looks like we're okay. So I'd like to introduce our new police chief, hopefully upon ratification by the City Council, Rich McKeechin. He's here tonight, and we did a very comprehensive recruitment process, including community panel interviews, interviews by police chiefs within this region, and I did interviews as well, conducted them. And we have an extremely competent and professional candidate before us with Rich McKeechin. He was the police chief in Dos Palos, and he's currently the police chief in the city of Clayton. I'm very proud of his record, and I'm very confident that he will serve the city well. Saying all that, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our current police chief, Salvador. We're going to miss you very much, and it's been a pleasure, real pleasure working with you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, does council have any questions for Chris? Okay, seeing none. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'm going to close public comment. Would any member like to make a motion to ratify the contract?
I'll make a motion to ratify the police chief contract as it's written.
I'll second.
Motion by Rochester, second by Raymond. Kale?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Rochester?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. McKeechin, would you like to come up to the front here so you can introduce yourself to our public? You can say a few words if you would like.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. Thank you all for ratifying this contract. Thank you, City Manager Holm, for choosing me. I appreciate you putting your faith and trust in me, and I look forward to working with you all. Chief Salvador, thank you for all the hard work you've done for the community. The last time I was here in this chambers was for your swearing in 7 years ago. It's hard to believe it's gone so fast. Congratulations on your retirement, and don't go too far away and don't change your number, because I'm sure I'll have some questions for you. As far as the community, I look forward to working with all of you and getting to know you all, and all the staff that I don't know, that I haven't met. I look forward to working with you guys as well. I'm really excited to get going and get to know all of my staff, and I'm just excited.
Good.
Perfect way
We're
to come to the
excited too.
holidays.
All right, we're back to comments from the public.
At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record, however, it is not required. Action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and or placed on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
All right, under the Brown Act, Members of the public must address the city council as a legislative body of the city, not other members of the public or staff. I am now opening public comment. Do we have any speaker cards?
I have 2 speaker cards, Mayor. The first one is for Sally Moss.
Good evening. Like she mentioned, my name is Sally Moss. I live at 1802 Woodland Hills Drive in Atwater. The reason why I come to you is to express some concern, some safety concerns of our city. Fog season has approached, and with that, it's really scary driving, especially at night, going on Commerce, even driving out in the country. I know we can't do anything about the country roads, but we can't see the lines anymore. Our public works, what's going on? Why are they slacking? They haven't been improved. Those lines are horrible. We need lines. The other day was very foggy going to work. I go by 3 different schools. Where's the lines? Literally, you have to roll down your window, stick your head out, and find the lines. Please, do something about our wonderful white lines that are not existent. Heck, Walmart parking lot has better lines than we do. And that's kind of sad. Please fix our lines.
Okay, thank you. Next.
The next speaker card is for Wyatt Bowman. Thank you.
Okay. So, is there any other members of the public who would like to speak? If so, please come forward.
Good evening, Linda Dash, Atwater. On 21 June of this year, I submitted a FOIA request to the city and received an answer referring me to account numbers. I requested the total amounts to date that the police chief spent remodeling the police offices, were their plans drawn up, and who approved the remodeling. I also requested the total amounts, whether it came from general fund or Measure B. To date, today, December the 9th, 2024, I have not received a reply. So I figured that the only way the city will pay attention to my request is for me to contact the state of California and request an audit. This has been done. Y'all remember the city was invited to Sacramento a few years ago regarding questionable use of taxpayer funds. They were monitored for some time. Also, looking at your warrant list, who all in the city has been given credit cards? I thought that our mayor requested that the city be more transparent each time you folks list the credit card charges. I think that the general public would be most interested in looking these lists over so they can see what's happening with our funds. Very interesting. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I stand here before you, humbled with the turnout tonight. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for the last nearly 7 years, actually 6 years that we were together, and the progress that we made. I was fortunate enough to be selected in 2019 to come here, and as it has been put tonight, we had issues. And we weren't afraid of those issues, and we attacked those issues. And the slide deck that that I showed the council in April of 2019, I am proud to say we accomplished every single piece of that slide deck. from upgrades in the computer equipment to upgrades in the fleet to upgrades in the building. We made it happen. A lot of hard work by this council, which I will be infinitely grateful for. I also want to thank the members of this community for their support over the last 6 years, including the overwhelming passage of the ballot measure in 2022. Because if we don't pass that ballot measure, we're not having this conversation today. I want it to be perfectly clear that I worked every single day to make this police department as the best it could be. Whether you agreed with the way I did it or not, we can agree to disagree. But every single day until December 18th, I will come with the purpose of making this a better place to work. We've done collaborative efforts with our neighbors, and they've been highly successful. And as I stand here before you on my last council meeting, I stand here with a great sense of pride in the work that we have done. I want to wish my successor all the best. The minute I announced that I was retiring publicly, he was the first person that called me. Mike, please let me know when the job is going to fly. I would love to be your successor. And I'm really, really happy that he is. He's going to be a great chief. So I know I heard my tone, and
Twice.
Greg's going to cut me off here in about 30 seconds.
Not me.
But again, I want to thank Chris for his confidence in me for the last 6 months. I want to thank Lori Waterman for her confidence in me over the past 6 years. I want to thank each and every one of you that sits on the council for your support. I don't think I got told no once in 6 years. For that, I'll be forever grateful. As I close this chapter in my career, 37 years serving 5 communities, I just want to say that Atwater was a hell of a ride. And I was proud to be your police chief. Thank you.
There's always got to be one wet blanket in the crowd here, and here he sits before you. Gentlemen, have you seen this? It should have been in your packet. You could probably read what it is. This is supposed to be the minutes for the Measure B Oversight Committee. Something that I'm sure you're probably not reading, because I know you're not reading the warrant list. The warrant list is showing expenditures, and I'm here tonight only because I don't think it's being communicated down to you. The expenditures that are being made are those that are not public safety interest. It's pure and simple. They're just not. And being on the oversight committee, and I'm sorry, Greg, if this upsets you a little bit, but when I interviewed for this, I made it clear. I'm going on that committee to put the money where it's supposed to go and where it's not supposed to go. There is a general fund for public safety, and that is where a lot of this expenditure should go, starting with flooring for the firehouse, exercise equipment, to the tune of $15,000. We also have a new door that's ADA compliant that's going in. Listen, I am all for the police and fire. They have my utmost respect and admiration, and this is not about policemen and firemen. It's not. It's about money that this city is not spending properly. It's being misused. And I'm sick of it. This is not the way it's supposed to happen. And it says right in your own flyer. This is your words during the Measure B campaign. There was a flyer that was sent out. Sorry, I don't have a big copy of this, but it says, if enacted, Measure B is subject to annual independent financial audits, blah, blah, blah. But then it also says to oversee the Measure B funds are used for public safety services. And then this next line, by law. That means something. Words mean something. It says by law. This type of funding can only be spent on Atwater Police and Fire Services. Gentlemen, madam, these are not services when you're putting down flooring in a firehouse, painting the doors, going and putting in exercise equipment. All of this, there was a senator back in the 60s, Everett Dirksen, and he used to say back then, $1 billion here, $1 billion there, and pretty soon you're talking about some serious money. Well, it's the same thing here. 1,000 here, 1,000 there. Pretty soon you're talking about some serious money, and this is money that's being misappropriated.
Thank you. Rich Miller, 334 Silva Drive, pastor Victory Baptist Church, 1280 Sierra Vista Street. Want to start off by welcoming all those that were elected. Mr. Borba, Billings, Mr. Rochester, Mr. Kale. Appreciate you all being willing to serve. Also like to welcome our new chief. I appreciate you coming on. I would like to issue a caution to our residents about believing everything you hear and everything you read. Just within the last couple weeks, I think I might have been on my deathbed according to Facebook posts, but here I stand, and I am not the ghost of Christmas past, present, or future. With all that being said, there's a lot of rhetoric that gets spewed in our community, and we're not a very big community. I would just encourage everybody, do your own homework. Don't just listen to what you read, what people say and what you read in one source. At the same time, I want to say thank you once again to all of you that serve. I think tonight was just another one of these times, Mr. Kale, Mr. Raymond, we've been through, even Mr. Ambrose, where it's been a long meeting. And we've had some short ones, but some long ones since 2019. And I've tried to attend almost every one of them. There have been times when I haven't been able to. And I appreciate you all serving. I think back to taking off my pastor hat for a minute. So I am still a pastor, but I'm a Christian. And I think back to the Bible. Jesus went to a place, and there was a man who was a lunatic. He was a maniac, and Jesus cast the demons out of him. And when the people from the city came and found him in his right mind, they asked Jesus to leave. So you can't please everybody. You just can't. Jesus couldn't, and you can't. And I appreciate you being willing to serve. I would like to issue a rebuke, which I normally don't do, but I would like to rebuke the Planning Commission because this meeting went a lot longer than it should have. I don't sit up there. I'm not as knowledgeable as most people probably in this room, but we could have cut a lot of the time out of this meeting if they would have handled the one issue that took forever. And the reason why I'm issuing the rebuke is because I have a number of young people that came here tonight to honor this man, and they sat through it all. So now I have to take them to Sonic and get them shake. So the least I can do is rebuke the Planning Commission.
You're welcome.
It's not that hard. They made you guys the bad guys, and you weren't the bad guys. You made the right decision. Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Pastor. Anybody else? Ladies first.
I'd like to give kudos to the City of Atwater for their awesome Christmas parade, especially Jamie Brown needs to be recommended for a raise. And also to Justin Vincent and his crew for maintaining our lights that go across Broadway and replacing the light bulbs. It looked so pretty. And I think our city deserves a big round of applause for the awesome Christmas parade.
Thank you for that. Yes, you can speak briefly.
I'll keep it very short. I just want to take an opportunity to thank the voters of Atwater. We had a very large turnout this year in the election, and I'm very humbled that you have selected me to serve as your city clerk again. Thank you guys very much for that trust.
It was a tight race there, Corey.
Well, I was surprised how many write-ins you got. 114 or something. Yeah, still. Okay, anybody else wish to speak this evening? Okay, seeing nobody else come forward, I'm going to close public comment. We're going to go to council member reports. We'll start with Mr. Kale.
And I got to go back. I got a lot of notes. As Ms. Wood said, great job on the Christmas parade, especially Jamie Brown, who did a fantastic job, Justin, and this whole public work crew. Thank you guys for the work, setting up the street and doing the cleanup afterwards. I was very pleased to see Saturday morning you guys going out there picking up all the trash that was left out. So appreciate that. Appreciate the police department for all providing safety to all of our people who came to the parade during and after it. The whole event was one wonderful thing that makes Atwater the best city in the valley to live in. I also want to thank Chief Salvador for everything he's done. You came in when our city needed to look to the future. You provided that future to us, and we needed that right person, and you became that right person. Appreciate everything you've done for us, and congratulations to Chief McEachin. You now have a pillow to sit on that was provided by the chief, so we look forward to see what you can do. I didn't get a chance to publicly say anything to Tyler, but Tyler, it was an honor serving with you. He was really, in our meetings when we had closed sessions, he was really on the point, and when he spoke, everybody went, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. So I really appreciate Tyler, because I was really scared of that school teacher thing. But it turned out really great. And then, so goodbye, Tyler. We promised we'd see each other and go play around the golf. So congratulations to our new police officer and everything. And I do want to say that I thank you, Frank, our attorney, for telling us what the rule of the law is so that we can make the right decisions. So I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope that everybody enjoys the season. And the reason for the season is to celebrate the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ and the birth of a brand new year. So everybody enjoy the holiday season, and please, please, be careful. That's it.
All right. I got to zip this all the way up too now. No. Just a couple of things before I get into all the good stuff. I am a little disappointed in this evening. We spoke of land rights, but yet we're having residents who are losing a majority of their front porch pretty much because of calming circles, slowing circles, whatever circles. So it just baffles me with what the things that we do approve and don't approve. but on to the good stuff, I guess. Welcome, Officer Reyes. Thank you for choosing Atwater. Like everyone else, or like Councilman Kell was saying, a wonderful turnout for our Christmas parade. A lot of, are they still considered floats? A lot of participants. My mother-in-law kind of complained about how long it went, but it was a wonderful event. I want to definitely thank our fire department for extending the invite for myself and my son to ride on. It's Engine 41, correct? Prior to that night, you know, for a little 4-year-old, he's been saying that his name's Detective Grayson. Following day, he was Fire Detective Grayson. So tell your crew thank you for the way that they treated myself and my family. Chief Salvador, it's never been a dull moment, especially since the first day you got here. Thank you for getting our department where it needs to be, and just getting them on the right path for the future. So thank you very much for your service. That's it tonight.
Okay, I'm going to go next before Bobby sneaks out of here because he'll say he has a fire call to go to. Because I keep hearing the tones over there. Get that one there. I want to, well, yeah, parade was all good. Everything that everybody said up here, I don't have to say it again. But the tri-tip barbecue on Saturday was the bomb. I know that's probably outdated language for you young folks, but no, it was really good. Tri-tip was great. The beans were great. Everything was great. And I will say this much. I think Bobby said they sold about 120 tickets, and the goal was 200 tickets. So I am challenging this council to get out, either buy tickets next year or get out and sell tickets, because we need to be supporting this project because the money's going to buy toys for the kids of Atwater. We can't just let these guys float out there, you know. And the other good thing about that day, I was hanging out there for a few minutes, and I got to go on the structure fire with Bobby. So that was kind of reliving my heyday, I guess. And Chief Salvador, best of luck in your future endeavors. Brian.
So excited, Mike. Thank you. Calista, welcome. Happy to have you. I think we're going to have a good time up here. Everybody else that won election, congratulations to you guys. New Chief McEachin, pleasure meeting you there today. Looking forward to working with you. Chief Salvador, other than the militarization of the police department, we got along pretty well. You've done a good job, become a friend, and I'm going to miss you. So good luck in everything you're doing from here on. I was going somewhere else. Oh, well, speaking of the Christmas parade, a prominent figure in the county told me today that Atwater's rocked Merced. So good job, everybody involved in that. Today is also my son's birthday, so the one day the meeting goes long, I've got to miss it as my baby boy is turning 16. So I will be leaving here to go spend time with him. David Michael, I love you. I'm proud of the man you are becoming. And with that, it is the Christmas season. Time to remember Christ. And we should remember him every day, but celebrate his birth and remember that he came to serve and not be served. And we should do the same this season as well. Thank you.
Well, Mayor Nelson just reminded me that I forgot to pick up my tri-tip fundraiser dinner on Saturday, so thank you for that. I attended a Remembering Loved Ones ceremony at the Castle Veterans Organization, and I want to thank them for opening their hall for us to be able to remember our loved ones. Also, I want to give a shout out to Public Works. We did have that scare for the first rain, and they made sure to reach out and let us know that we had the ability to go pick up sandbags. I, of course, encouraged my husband to do that, and he said, nah, it's not needed. So he won that battle. I don't know if any of you have been able to go visit the ice skating rink downtown. It's really cool. It's great for young people. So if you haven't been able to go, I would encourage you to do so. I thought the parade was awesome, much better than Merced City's parade. I'm looking forward to serving on the new committees that I've been assigned to, so I'll be reaching out for that. And I will also be doing requesting through the city manager to do some ride-alongs so that I could better understand some of the needs of the departments. So I just want to close by thanking Chief Salvador for his service to our great city, and I want to welcome Chief McEachin to our wonderful city. And if there's anything that you need from me or us, feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Chris, wrap it up.
Okay, just one last announcement. The Atwater City Fire Department has an open house at 6 p.m. on Saturday, December 14th. So check out fire station. It's going to be awesome. Thank you. And please drive safely in the fog.
Which one?
Station 42.
Can I say one more thing? I'm sorry, Mr. Rochester. I don't know what to call you yet. We'll talk about that later. But congratulations on your win, and you guys, you had no choice. You had your name down. So congratulations to you, and congratulations to your opponent who put up a valiant fight. And I have to say, that says a lot about your character being here today, and I truly appreciate that. So that was an awesome thing to do, and I hope to see you here more often.
All right, with that, I'm going to adjourn the meeting until January 13th.